We have a stimulus bill. Woohoo! It's a disaster. I'll explain in a second. We have lockdowns going on still across the world and some really creepy stuff here in America. The Olympics, finally. Doesn't look like we're going to have them. All that's coming up right now, and I'm right. We've got a stimulus bill. Aren't you so excited? Let me explain to you what has happened. Well, it hasn't officially passed yet because Nancy Pelosi went ahead and adjourned until Thursday. Gosh, it's unbelievable. But essentially, the House and Senate got back together and they went back and forth and they decided on a course of action that we need to take. And that course of action is, of course, spending a bunch of money. Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. They're going to means test, figure out who gets a $1,200 check there or maybe a $2,400 check there. Businesses will get a loan. They're going to get a loan out there because once the federal government points a gun to your face and forces you to put a close sign on your door, forcing you to lay off all your employees, possibly close for all time, the next thing the government inevitably does is attempt to loan you money. If that sounds a little bit weird, yeah, that's because it is a little bit weird. So I see all these people on the right cheering this today. Well, we're going to get some relief. People, just mathematically, I know you don't want to hear this, but just mathematically, our economy's $20 trillion. A temporary $2 trillion stimulus package is nothing. It'll be gone like that. As long as revenues are zero, which right now for so many businesses, for entire industries, revenues are zero, it wouldn't matter if you actually passed a $20 trillion aid package. It would all be gone like that because the revenues are gone. You either open America back up for business or we are toast. So forgive me if I don't sit there and do the moon dance over the fact that they passed a $2 trillion spending package. So I'm supposed to be thrilled that Congress is now going to pick winners and losers? That this business gets an exemption and this business gets a new burden? Don't be excited. You got screwed once again. But what happens is Congress, they shut everybody down and they wait for the people to turn to Congress and say, save us. And then, we're going to do this for you. What they call that idiot thing? The Family First bill or something stupid like that? Yeah. Well, sorry, you'll have to forgive me if I'm not excited, but here's Mitch McConnell.
I have an update for the information of all senators and for the information of the American people, and it's good news. It's good news for the doctors and nurses in emergency rooms around the country who are waiting for more masks and more funding. It's good news for families all across America. At last, we have a deal.
Oh, yeah, we've got a deal. And look, I'm glad they're handing some money back to the people. I'm glad there are individuals that are actually going to get a check. And I can't believe I'm saying that. But if the government's going to force you to destroy your livelihood, they dang well better pay you for it. Granted, it's $1,200. It's not nothing. That's something. But I wouldn't recommend you head out to the steakhouse for a lovely dinner with the wife with that. Chuck Schumer says they compromised.
It is a good bill. Does it have everything we need? No. Are some things in there that I would have rather not had? No, of course. But this is the art of compromise. This is the art of coming together. America needed huge help quickly, and I think we've risen to that occasion.
Yeah, thank you for rising to that occasion. This is a very important bill out there. And I want to just take a brief step back here just so we don't lose sight on things. There's an article out today in the Wall Street Journal from a doctor, another expert. Not all the experts say that we're all going to die. There are plenty of experts out there that say we're not. He says this entire thing is being grossly overblown, that this coronavirus has been around for a long time. Many of you have already had it and didn't even know it. Many of you had it and got sick and got over it. That's why so many people are testing positive and we're just not seeing the death numbers we were promised. So I want you to keep in mind, while Congress passes a $2 trillion bill, that you, your kids, your grandkids, their great-grandkids are going to have to pay back. While they destroy the economy, they're doing this for something we don't even really understand yet. We're constantly hearing things like, "Well, I mean, we don't have a model. We just don't have the data yet." Why don't you do me a favor? Go collect the data, then come back to me and we'll talk about what to do with the economy. We don't destroy the biggest economy in the history of the world while you figure things out. That's not sane. Here's Cuomo admitting what I just said. It's not even enough.
You look at the loss in the revenue, what you guys have been talking about to me. How do you do a state budget with that dramatic loss in revenue? And Rob Mujica has been saying, well, the federal government is going to pass a stimulus package that delivers additional funding to state governments. Okay, here's the package. It gives us $3.8 billion. The hole is as high as $15 billion. How do you plug a $15 billion hole with $3.8 billion? You don't.
And you know what's funny? He's right. You don't. This is a drop in the bucket. A drop in the bucket. And I'm seeing people celebrate this as if we just solved the problem. We didn't solve anything. We may have made the pain a little bit less for the time being, but I'm not even sure we did that. On top of that, more pain is coming. We do understand that debt has to be paid back, right? Trees don't grow to the sky. I know we're all numb to the fact that we're $23 trillion in debt before we even pass this, but you know that ends only one way, right? You're aware? So you're aware. Trump wants the economy open by Easter?
Ultimately, the goal is to ease the guidelines and open things up to very large sections of our country as we near the end of our historic battle with the invisible enemy. We're going for a while, but we win. We'll win. I said earlier today that I hope we can do this by Easter. I think that would be a great thing for our country, and we're all working very hard to make that a reality. We'll be meeting with a lot of people to see if it can be done. Easter is a very special day for many reasons. For me, for a lot of our friends, that's a very special day. And what a great timeline this would be. Easter as our timeline, what a great timeline that would be.
Again, I'm sorry. I do not mean to come on here and be Debbie Downer. I don't. Easter, that's still weeks away. That's more than 2 weeks away. We have businesses closing their doors forever now, right now. Next week, there'll be even more. Another week, there'll be even more. And we're hoping by Easter? I'll tell you what, that hope better turn into a fact, and maybe a little faster. We're going to be in trouble. Joe Biden, I don't know why this guy's still talking, but he is.
President Trump said today he would like to reopen the country by Easter. What's your response?
He should stop talking and start to listen to the medical experts.
Joe Biden needs to get off TV. We just played you about a 3-second clip, and this is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not well. He's not well. He shouldn't be campaigning whether or not we do or don't have a crisis out there. He shouldn't. Send him home. Joe needs to relax. He needs to retire. All of that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. Now, let me tell you about mybookie.ag. Before I get into it, remember the promo code Jesse. That's going to be important in a second. I have been kicking back at night, and I need some kind of fix. There are no sports on TV. There's no nothing. And so I found mybookie.ag, and they allow me to bet on politics, on who's going to be the next president. They allow me to bet on whether or not Donald Trump's Twitter account's going to be suspended. They allow me to bet on which terrorist is going to be captured next. It's just a wild, crazy, fun site. And remember I told you about promo code Jesse? If you go to mybookie.ag and you use promo code Jesse, they'll match you. You put $250, they match it. You put $1,000, they match it. Look, so many of us are stuck at home right now anyway. Go to mybookie.ag, start playing today, start winning today. Joining me now is one of my favorite people in the world, somebody who has been a mentor for me in this business, somebody who is a friend, and somebody who is currently cooped up in his apartment because he has been ordered to do so in New York City. His name is Buck Sexton of The Buck Sexton Show, which obviously needs no introduction to, well, pretty much anybody. Buck, how's it hanging up there, bud? We got all the freedom in the world down here. How you doing?
How's it look, my friend? This is quarantine life right here. This is quarantine life. People are like, oh, fix your hair. They don't understand. It's not fixable. There's nothing I can do. Like a chia pet that's been given some kind of plant steroids. I cannot get this under control. It's not even worth trying. You said it before. You said I'm starting to look like the Unabomber. And
You should. You do. You look bad. All right. What is it like? I realize you can only look out the window and, peer down at everything you used to be able to do. But explain to people who don't live in New York City, what is it like there? I will tell you the roads are pretty empty here, but there are still cars out. The restaurants are obviously pretty empty, but there are people picking up to go. What is it like on the normal hustling and bustling sidewalks of New York?
so I go out to walk the family dog that I've taken in because my parents don't want to be on the street because of their age, understandably. So it's a ghost town, dude. I mean, there are grocery stores, delis, places that sell food are open. But New York is a place that is in many ways defined by restaurants, cafes, bars. I mean, we probably have a greater concentration of that than anywhere else in the country, especially where I am. I'm in the middle of Manhattan. Dude, there's just nothing. I mean, everything is shut down. And it's really troubling because, I've been trying to, and look, not that I'm some great guy or something, but I'm trying to order food from local places, give much bigger tips than I normally would, just little things that I know we're all trying to do to help out. Jesse, they're shutting down. Even places that have a takeout business, they can't because of the cost of personnel and food and preparing the food here in New York, they can't keep up. So every day I go to order food, I don't know, people say, oh, what a big, no, but in New York, that's a really big part of the economy. Every day you go to order food, there are fewer options because more places are shutting down. It's just a ghost town.
We're seeing the exact same thing here now, but probably in much less concentrated form than yours. It's so funny you brought that up. I realize nobody cares about my personal story, but just yesterday, there's this cheesesteak place I love down here, live and die for it. Some of the best cheesesteaks ever. DoorDashed it because we're also trying to do the exact same thing you're doing, trying to do a little bit at a time. DoorDashed it, put in my order. 20 minutes later, DoorDash sent me a response saying the business has been permanently closed. That's an awful situation when you consider all the employees that are attached to that, owners that are attached to that, and now know that story has been spread across the United States of America. That's where we're at. That's where we're at, man, and it's ugly.
Yeah, I've placed 4 orders, Jesse. And again, this is anecdotal, but I'm here in quarantine. I placed 4 different orders where when I placed it, they came back to me and the restaurant, they said the restaurant was closed. What they meant was that the restaurant may not ever open again. 4 times. So I've gotten through the whole process of ordering on an app. And then at the end, I find out. And this is just bringing it home for people. This is real. These businesses are shutting down. They still have rent payments to make, even if we give them enough money so they could keep payroll going for a month, maybe 2. And that's assuming the government can get the money to them quickly enough. Rents are sky high. The number one reason, this is a friend of mine who owns a bunch of restaurants actually in Washington, D.C. He said the number one reason that places have to close in the food service industry is the rent, meaning that they can't get above that level because they kind of know what the personnel costs are and they can cut and change that. So yeah, it's look, Jesse, it's bad news here, man. And look, I'm not even talking yet about how the hospitals are already filling up. There are real concerns about how many ventilators we have, and what's happening in New York, and I'm trying to get this message out to my audience, which is all across the country, just like yours. This is going to happen in other places, folks. It's happening in Florida. It's happening in California. It's already kind of started to happen in Washington, which got hit pretty badly early on. And I don't know. I don't think anybody who says they have all the answers right now doesn't. But I do know that the shutdown of the economy is going to have consequences that nobody understands. Nobody.
I totally agree. And they are going to be far-reaching. We've been ranting about it, as you can probably guess, on this show extensively. That you can't put a number on what wrecking your own economy does. You want to talk about healthcare problems, go ahead and wreck your economy and then see what the health of the nation looks like. All right, so we have this bill. Now, the bill's not passed yet. It gets by the House, goes to the Senate, gets by the Senate, has to go back to the House. Nancy Pelosi, of course, adjourns until tomorrow because she is quite possibly the worst, the most least self-aware politician in America right now. What do you think of the bill itself, Buck? I hate it. I think it's a drop in the bucket. I think it picks winners and losers, and it's standard crap. Do you like it?
No, I mean, it's full of problems. And the biggest one that I see as somebody who's here in New York in the middle of the pandemic is that, Jesse, you're smart enough to live in a state with no state income tax, where real estate is affordable to a family that's actually trying to make it, for people that are working. $99,000 a year, which is the cutoff, goes a lot further in parts of Texas and Oklahoma and Nebraska than it does in California or New York. So they say they're means testing it, but it's so slapdash, but they got to do something. So Nancy Pelosi is a legislative abomination. I mean, the fact that she thinks she's a master legislator is kind of laughable. I've been saying that she is the same way the media has created a cult around RBG, and they'll go, ooh, look at her do kettlebell swings, which is just bizarre, by the way. She's a little old lady. They've said the same thing about Nancy Pelosi being a master legislator with all this great skill. No, Nancy Pelosi does stupid stuff. Look at what she did with impeachment. That was idiotic. She does dumb things all the time, and this was clearly dumb because everyone, even with the media trying to cover for her initially, the New York Times writing the Democrats had to do this. They had to stop the bill to save the bill or whatever. She looks like a buffoon because she is, and she's absolutely unethical and just power mad and greedy. In terms of what this will do itself, Jesse, I just feel like, okay, it buys us 2 or 3 weeks, maybe, best case scenario. Okay, what do we do then? We're going to keep doing this? And I asked the question, if people think that this doesn't have negative consequences, and I really mean this, why not just write every American a check? This goes back to the bad math on MSNBC of, $500 million means $1 million for every American, which we know is not true. But why not write every American a check for $5,000 right now? I mean, that would really help, right? Every single American gets a check for $5,000. Because at some level, we all intuitively understand that we'll collapse our economy. And if we hit hyperinflation, or if we hit some of these structural economic risks that currently are staring us in the face, then we have a pandemic and we have a collapsed economy. People not showing up to do critical jobs, people not able to get supplies they need to do those jobs. That's what we're heading for unless we get a hold of this. Or I'm crazy, Jesse, and we should just all get a check for $100,000.
Buck, next time, it's time to just embrace the full Unabomber thing. You've already got the hoodie on. We need the shades. We need you to go hood up. Next time, we're going all in. Once again, everybody, remember, Buck and I are doing a special again like we did last time because y'all loved it so much. It'll be on Twitter Live, Facebook Live, the works. We sit down, Buck and I just sit and shoot the breeze for about a half hour about everything. We take your questions live on the air. I look good. Buck doesn't look that good. So on and so forth.
6 Eastern Sunday we're going to shoot for, I think. And I have an idea. We should try to get maybe our friend Sean Parnell in on that one, too. Sean wants to hang out. He's heard about this. We got to mess with him now, so we got to get him on here because we'll make fun of his beard.
Sean is always fun to get on because he's so earnest and such a pure human being that when he gets around us, you can tell he's just a little bit uncomfortable. Buck Sexton with the Buck Sexton.
From you to Sean and me in the middle. Anyway, good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Be good, my man. All right. We have some really, really Orwellian stuff going on right here in America. Hang on. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. We are entering a very odd time in the United States of America. And I'm not going to do one of these things where I'm like, well, it's never happened before, because things like this have happened before, but during really, really dark, scary times. I mean, Abraham Lincoln famously suspended habeas corpus when he was president during the Civil War. FDR locked up a bunch of American Japanese folks because he was scared of the internal Japanese threat. We've had times where we give up liberties in this country, and we're there again. And you're going to have to forgive me, people, because I feel like some of this might not be because of the virus. Believe me, before you think I'm going full tinfoil on my head, hear me out on this. You have all these mayors, all these governors issuing these totally draconian orders. You have to shut down. Well, you have to lock this up. Here's a list of businesses you're allowed to keep open. Los Angeles County Sheriff is stopping people from buying weapons. Los Angeles' mayor, listen to what he's going to do if you don't comply.
So if you know of a shop that's failing to do as asked, give them a call and ask them to do what's required. Remind them, and if they won't, refer them. Because if we see continued noncompliance, they'll wind up facing misdemeanor charge, and DWP will step in and shut off their water and power.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need you guys. I know you can hear me here. I need you to go ahead and play that for me again one more time. And everybody who's watching, pay very close attention to what the mayor of the second biggest city in the United States just said.
So if you know of a shop that's failing to do as asked, give them a call and ask them to do what's required. Remind them, and if they won't, refer them. Because if we see continued noncompliance, they'll wind up facing misdemeanor charge, and DWP will step in and shut off their water and power.
Remind them, and if they won't, refer them, and then they'll face a criminal charge? We are now, because of a virus, forcing businesses to close, issuing orders for American citizens to stay in their homes, and telling American citizens that they should inform on their fellow citizens to the government and face charges. Did I just get teleported to a completely different time? And what's worse, what really, really drives me nuts about this is no one else is saying it. No one else seems to think that's a little creepy. That's not a little creepy to you? Over a virus? Yes, a serious one. I'm not discounting that. But remind them, and if not, refer them so we can shut off their water and charge them with crime? People, if what we're doing right now in this country in response to this virus is not waking you up to the heavy, frightening hand of government, then nothing ever will. If you are okay with this because you're scared of a disease, you are not an American. Let me repeat that because I understand it offended some people. If you are okay with things like this because of a disease, you are not an American. You don't deserve to wave that flag. You don't. This is the land of the free. Yes, you can have an appropriate response to a disease. You can ask people to stay away from others, as me and my family are doing. You can take certain steps to mitigate it. You do not, as a mayor, governor, congressman, senator, state senator, president, whoever, you do not have a right to point a finger at the American people and say, stay in your home and shut your business. I do not acknowledge that as a lawful right that you have. I do not. And neither should you. And refer your fellow citizens. People, you either start pushing back on this loudly or they're only going to get more bold. Because as you notice, they are, right? First it was, well, we're asking you to stay in. Then it became, well, we're telling you you better stay in. Then it became, you have to close down your business. Then it was the National Guard being called in. Now it's sheriffs being called in, shutting down gun stores. Then it's mayors about to charge you with a crime. They're not backing off. They're not going in the opposite direction. They are pushing full steam ahead because they think you have given them carte blanche to do so. They think you are a sheep. Don't be a sheep. And don't be fooled by some of the other countries in this world and their reactions to this thing. Look at Vladimir Putin here. Look at how he walks into this place. Look at this. Putting on a freaking hazmat suit. We got nurses and doctors all over the globe treating this thing with a face mask on, and Putin's putting on a freaking hazmat suit like he's some suburban soccer mom. Get serious with that. But you watch. China's going to come out of this smelling like a rose. Russia's going to come out of this smelling like a rose. Why do I say that? Think about where we are. Not assigning motives, but China, right before this thing hit, their economy was in the toilet thanks to Trump's tariffs. They had always been our competitor. We were going head to head with them, right? Well, we had won. We had won. Our economy was steaming. Theirs was drowning. How's that look now? How's it look now if the American economic system crashes? You know where the world's going to look to, right? It ain't Mexico. It ain't Canada. It ain't Great Britain. It ain't Germany. If the American economy crashes, the world is going to look to China. And China's going to have that leadership position they always wanted. You think it's worth it? All right, we got more show. Hang on. I have to say something, as much as it pains me to say something nice about an Army guy. This next guest, who's obviously been on our show several times, Kurt Schlichter, senior columnist from townhall.com, is somebody you really need to start reading. And you've never really heard me say that to you before, but in times like this, when things are dire and the economy's down and people worried about a disease and all the news seems bad out there, don't you want to laugh a little? And nobody in politics makes me belly laugh when I read his stuff like Kurt Schlichter does. Kurt, can you, because I have so many young aspiring pundits and actors, not actors, all these young pundits and writers and want to be on cable news people, they always reach out and they're like, hey, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Every time I read your article, I think to myself, I could never write like that. How does one get to be able to write like that and have that kind of bite? Does it take you forever? Is it natural for you? I'm genuinely curious about it.
Well, first I want to say, Jesse, it's right for you to pay tribute to me. I'm amazing. And it is an Army thing. It's nice to see the Marine Corps recognizing the decisive military force in the American. Anyway, let's move on. I was, among other things, a stand-up comic for a while. I've written funny stuff for 30 years. I've written political stuff for 30 years. And, it just sort of happens. Now, you and I have partaken in a small glass of port together on occasion. So you know that, conservatives can be fun folks. And I think this idea of bow-tied loser virgins who want to talk about healthcare policy all the time and have never kissed a girl really don't represent the kind of vibe you and I are throwing down.
Well, I mean, to your point, which is obviously funnily made, I feel like everybody who's making decisions right now and all these experts and all these advisors, I feel like they don't reside out in the real world where you and I come from, Kurt. I genuinely feel like that, and it's creating this separation. And I will tell you, the gap between what I'm seeing the politicians and pundits say and what real people are reaching out to me and saying, it's going this way. Man, these politicians and pundits are just throwing out numbers. Oh, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Oh, just a temporary pause. It's a little shared pain. And I have people weeping on my phone telling me I'm losing it all. They don't get it.
Look, leadership is about making choices. It's about being the guy who makes a tough call and takes responsibility for it. We have to balance safety and security, which is a legitimate concern, with economic prosperity, which is a legitimate concern, with freedom, which is a legitimate concern. And I'm not going to say people are doing the best they can. I think a lot of people are trying. Some other people are not trying, are enjoying the power. But look, what we need is what the president tried to give yesterday, which is certainty, at least some level of it. And adults understand that when situations and facts change, so do plans. Plans rarely survive contact with the enemy. But telling people, hey, I think by Easter, you're going to be able to live something like a normal life. And those restaurants, like I just went to one of my favorite restaurants. It was nearly empty. We bought takeout there because I'm trying to help these folks. And lots of other people are too. But we need certainty. We need to know when we're going to be able to get back into our jobs, into our lives. And we are not promising, and we understand that that can change. But we need something to plan for. We need hope. You can't, you walk in and tell everybody, hey, you're all going to die. Well, that works at the Alamo. but it doesn't work the day after the Alamo.
I guess to what something you just said really hit home for me is, as far as you have to balance economic freedom with, with real freedom, with the public health, because we do have to worry about this pandemic. It is a serious disease. My problem right now with what we're doing now, Kurt, not just 2 or 3 weeks from now, what we hope we're doing, what we're doing now is I don't see any balance. Only one of those appears to be getting a voice. It appears the people who are only worried about the pandemic are the only ones making decisions, and that worries me, man.
I think we're starting to see more people understand that, you can't have a three-legged stool where one leg is 3 feet long and the other are 4 inches. And look, I follow you on Twitter, for my sins. And I don't agree with everything you've said on it exactly. I like where you're going, though. And I think it's important to have somebody out there as a pushing the envelope voice for the other legs of the tripod of Americanism, saying, hey, wait a minute, I know safety and security are important. What about economic factors? And that voice has to be heard. And that interest has to be pursued. This is going to end, and it's not going to end well if 20 million Americans try to go back to work and they find a closed sign on it. We need certainty. We need morale. They are hand in hand. You're, like I said, you're a Marine. I'm a soldier. Psychology is important. Human nature is important. We have to know that on the other side of this, it's going to be okay. And I was talking to one of my clients who runs a very large business, and he had to lay off a lot of people today, a lot of people. And I said, well, gosh, what do you think is going to happen? He says, I think we're going to get through this. I think I'm going to get them back. I think we're going to be strong again. But this is, I need certainty. I've got to know what's going on. I've got to be able to plan. And that's something our people in Washington have to take into account. The president got a lot of heat yesterday for saying, I want to open things up by Easter. That's okay. That voice needs to be heard. That pressure needs to exist, because if you let a guy with a hammer's gonna use a hammer. That's all he's gonna do. The medical issues here are vitally important, but they are not the only issues. There are other interests in mind. It's not, you just want Granny to die. No, I want Granny to live, and I want Granny to be able to feed herself, and I want Granny's grandkids to be able to have a life that doesn't involve dwelling in a hovel somewhere while a few rich people live like kings. This is all important stuff, and I think we can do it, but we need to understand that each of these aspects is important, and maybe today one is more important than the other, but tomorrow, we've got to get that balance back.
Kurt Schlichter, townhall.com. Read everything he does. Brighten your day a little bit. Appreciate you, Kurt.
Thanks for having me.
The Olympics might be toast. Hang on. My wife is going to be so bummed. It looks like we are not going to get our 2020 Olympics, which is supposed to be held in Japan, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. Nobody can travel. The airline industry's under fire. Nobody can congregate. So clearly they're not going to take the best athletes from all over the world and stuff them all in a big barracks room somewhere. Trump took to Twitter, congratulated the Prime Minister of Japan, says, congratulations to the Prime Minister Abe, I think it might be Abe, but I went to community college, and the IOC on their very wise decision to present the Olympics in 2021. It will be a great success, and I look forward to being there. So I understand a lot of people look forward to the Olympics. A lot of people need their Olympics fix. So we got a gag reel. This is all NBC stuff. We got a gag reel from NBC. Enjoy. I hope they're all okay. All right, we're going to do this all again tomorrow, I promise. See you then.